Welcome everybody to the fourth episode of the Woolie Network. I'm your host Joey Bean, along with my co-host Ryan Foley. Today we have a very special guest. She's a graduate from Western New England University. She currently works in Springfield, Mass., where she's the manager of professional relations at the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. Please welcome Chelsea Johnson. Chelsea, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome, thank you. So let's just get into the first question. So as manager of professional relations, what are your responsibilities and what is the position all about?
That's a very loaded question. So I work with our Vice President of Hall of Famer Relations on basically not managing, but managing the talent and the celebrity that comes through the Hall of Fame, whether it's for our enshrinement weekend or our 60 Days of Summer programming that takes place in July and August, or any other events that we run that we need talent for. But on top of that, I also am responsible for marketing the museum and marketing museum admissions, as well as handling ticket sales for enshrinement and for our Hoop Hall Classic and Hoop Hall West events, which are high school basketball showcase events in Springfield and in Scottsdale, Arizona, and anything else that I need to manage now. So there's a lot of different hats, but it's a lot of everything, kind of.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds great. So I have one for you. So at Western New England, you graduated with a major of sports management. Can you give us an idea of what studying in that program is like? And for the students watching, why you would recommend them choosing that major?
Yeah, so when I was a senior and junior in high school and I was looking at colleges and majors, I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to do. And I love sports, but I myself am definitely not an athlete. So I'm definitely more of a spectator. So it was actually, I didn't even discover a sport management major. My mom actually did. And she was like, this might be something that you're interested in because you'd work in sports, but you wouldn't be an athlete. And I was perfect. So Western New England was just a really good fit for me. And I mean, their program, I can't speak highly of it enough. It is a business program. I know a lot of schools they lump it into sport medicine and sport science. But the sport management program there is part of their business school. So you do graduate with a full business degree. It is concentrated in sport, but you take all your business classes, accounting, finance, regular management, labor relations, all of that. So, I mean, if I didn't get a job in sport, I could just apply for any business job really, which was nice. And it was small class sizes. One of the best things that I actually got to do while I was there was go to the 2016 Olympics in Rio. It was part of a class. You had to apply for it. There was an interview process. I think they only took 12 students that year, and it was the best experience of my life. I could talk about it for hours. I won't bother you with all of that, but it was definitely the best thing I've ever done, and it was great. So, but it was good. I liked the different business classes, and even though some of them weren't my favorite, but we got to focus on different aspects of the business industry, and that was what I really appreciated about it.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. I think a lot of people watching, especially in high school, are going to take that, and it's very helpful when they're making a decision on what program to join. Ryan, you got a question?
Yeah, so could you tell us some of the other types of careers that are available at the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, so our staff is very small, actually. We're only about 15 full-time staff. So as I mentioned before, you get to wear many hats, especially when it comes to our big events. Everyone's all hands on deck. So obviously I'm in marketing, but also like professional relations management. But then we also have operations. You can do operations with all of our events that we have, specifically like our collegiate basketball events and Hoop Hall Classic and Hoop Hall West. There's curation and archives, and then obviously like every business, accounting and finance and everything like that. So we have a lot of everything, but a lot of things, and operations in terms of museum operations and day-to-day museum admission and everything like that. So because we are a museum first and foremost. So but there's a lot of different opportunities here.
Yeah, that's interesting that you said that you have a small staff, only 15 people full time. So I wanted to talk about, so a few weeks ago, we actually interviewed Brian Morey, and he's the Patriots
Mm-hmm.
Hall of Fame director of the Hall of Fame. We asked him a few questions about the process of obtaining in-game memorabilia. Have you been able to see what the process of that looks like in creating exhibits for the memorabilia at the Hall?
I haven't seen it firsthand, but I know that there's a lot that goes into it. We actually recently just finished a 2.5 to 3 year full renovation of the museum. So a lot of our exhibits and everything did change recently. But we get a lot of our memorabilia from our Hall of Famers, or from class members, or current players and teams. So one of those things, for example, is when UMBC beat Virginia a few years ago, as a 16 beating the 1 seed. We have their clipboard from that game, and I believe we have a shoe or something like that, or a jersey from that game. So we get a lot of donations through that. We also have like Taco Falls collegiate jersey and shoes, just random historical things like that. But then we also get a lot of things from our Hall of Famers as they get enshrined. We ask for like a few jerseys or shoes or anything else that they think would be good to be displayed in the museum. And that gets alternated every year as a new class rolls in. And then more recently, we actually, probably about 2 years ago, I don't think you guys know who she is, but you might be a little young, Penny Marshall. She was an actress, and she was a huge sports fan. And when she died, part of her will was that the Hall of Fame could get any of her basketball memorabilia and keep it. So our curation department flew to California, cleared out all of the basketball memorabilia that she had, and then drove a truck back here with all of her memorabilia. And she had things you couldn't even believe. And so we got a lot of stuff from there. So I haven't personally seen that experience firsthand, but there is a lot of work that goes into it and displaying everything in a different manner. But our exhibits change every so often, especially annually with the new enshrinement classes that come in.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, thank you for that. Ryan, you go.
So have you had any interactions with players, coaches, executives, or notable people during your time working at the Hall of Fame?
Yes, I have. Most notable, I think it would depend on your perspective. I haven't met Michael Jordan. I know a lot of people ask about that. So I haven't met him, not yet at least. But we get a lot of like cool people that come through, especially, I reference it a lot, but especially during enshrinement because that is our premier event. So every year we have our class, and then I'm trying to think of like some good people that you guys would like. So like I've met Ray Allen. I've met, oh gosh, I'm trying to think of some good ones for you. It's funny because I work at the Hall of Fame and I'm not a big basketball fan myself. So for me, they're just very tall people. I'm trying to think of some good ones. I mean, Jason Kidd, Ray Allen, Grant Hill, and Steve Nash all got in 2018. So I was a part of that class. This year's class is it was the 2020 class with Kobe, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett. I didn't get to meet Kobe, but hopefully I'm sure I'll be able to meet Duncan and Garnett when they get in May. I'm trying to think, but you get some people that come through. And then with our 60 Days of Summer events, I'll be managing that come this year. But in 2018, I helped out. So got to meet people like Donovan Mitchell, Grayson Allen, Jason Tatum, Brad Stevens. We've had some Hall of Famers. To me, they're all so. I mean, we get some cool people that come through.
You're making me jealous over here. You're naming so many
I'm
top.
sorry.
I know.
But yeah, no, there's definitely some cool people that come through here. But that's part of the job, I guess. But you get used to it after a while. Like I said, they're just really tall.
Yeah, I mean that's the exact answer that we're looking for, and some. I mean, those are some crazy names. I know, Ryan. Those are some of your favorite guys. So.
Jason Tatum.
I was trying to think of some Celtics for you guys.
No, I know we're big basketball guys. So you just named, you named a good amount. Ryan, you got one?
Yeah. So, what would you say is your coolest aspect of your job?
It depends on the day. I would probably say like meeting the cool people, especially since it kind of makes it all the work that you put into it kind of worth it. Obviously, as you guys would probably know, you're not a fan when you're working, especially not when you're working. So it's not like I have pictures and autographs and everything like that, but doing all the work and then especially for our events and seeing everything come to fruition would probably be the coolest thing. And it's definitely the most satisfying and gratifying aspect of what I do is putting in all the work and then seeing it all pay off in the long run.
Awesome. Yeah. So last question here. So if you could give one piece of advice to a high school or college student that is interested in pursuing a career involved with sports, what would it be?
All right, my best one, I was gonna say I have two, but I'll say my best one is no opportunity is small, and no opportunity would be worthless. Even if it's and then type into my second one, which is keep your options completely open. So I did internships and everything throughout my college career and everything, but it was actually the part-time job that I worked while I was in college that gives me the most real life experience, if you will. It's not to say that the internships weren't helpful and I didn't learn a lot from them, but I found when I was interviewing, I referenced back to my part-time job a lot more than I thought I would. And I was just working at Buffalo Wild Wings. It wasn't like a crazy glamorous thing. I just worked customer service, and so any opportunity is a good one, and you'll get a lot of useful tools and life skills from any opportunity you find. Even if it's something that you can't stand doing, if you find an internship that you just are like, this is not for me, you still learn something from it, especially that you don't want to do that when it comes to working. So I think every opportunity comes from something, like you'll get something from every opportunity, and don't turn anything down, even if it's small or anything, just do it. And that ties into the other thing, which would be keep your options open. Because when I graduated, I really wanted to work in events management. And I didn't I didn't just focus in on events management. I applied to literally everything. And when I started here, I was actually in group sales. So when I started here, I did not want to work in group sales, like in the long run, but it was a foot in the door, and it's led me to where I am now. So keep your options open, because you never know what's going to be behind each door. And if you told me 5 years ago that I was going to be working in basketball, I would not believe you whatsoever. Like I said, I am not a basketball person, but here I am, and I like it a lot. So those would be my two things.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Those are some great answers, and all of them were just very interesting to hear. So Chelsea, thank you for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame, Chelsea Johnson. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, have a good one. Thank you.
Thanks. You too.